Very exciting news. I got a job! Last video I made, last update, I passed the NCLEX on July 31st and I started applying rigorously for registered nursing jobs in my area starting August 5th. Like, easily I applied to over 100 positions and I was not getting any calls anywhere. On August 28th, I decided to go to a walk-in Wednesday at Kindred Hospital near my house. And if you don't know what Kindred is, I believe they're called subacute hospitals, where the patients are not acute but they're not chronic yet. So it's like the in-between level of that. It's a lot of older patients who have illnesses that are more long-term. I went in for my interview. I was very nervous. I bought a portfolio off of Amazon. It was like $13, but I feel like it looks so nice and so professional. It's like this, and then you open it up and it has a full-on notepad. I put in this pen, and then I put in my license, my BLS, my ACLS, and a stroke scale, proof that I'm in a bachelor's program, and just my questions and answers that I could reference back. And then I would write any comments or things that they told me during the interview. I would write it down here as well. So I only practiced really like, tell me about yourself, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and why do you want to work here? And I didn't really like try as hard as I could have for that interview, which paid off because I didn't get a job, or I didn't get a call back at all. I saw a position on a Facebook group. It's like a new graduate Facebook group for Southern California. And it's great because everybody's posting like where they're applying, where they're getting calls back from, like people who already have jobs are giving out suggestions. So a lot of great tips and like advice are given off those new graduate forums on Facebook. So I would highly recommend to check those out and see if there's like a forum from your state or area to see if you could get any help and advice on which hospitals to look out for and which ones to apply for, because a lot of the positions weren't on Indeed or on Glassdoor, which were the websites I was mainly using to apply for jobs. They were more like you had to go into that hospital's website and go under careers and look for the job. One of the positions that I saw on there was a wound care outpatient clinic near my house, and they were new grad friendly. And I got excited because I didn't know that that was a position that a new graduate could get. And wound care is something I'm very much interested in doing in my future. Wound ostomy continence nursing is a field that I am interested in getting a certification and being specialized in that. So I thought this is pretty cool. Like, no hospital is calling me. This would be a great opportunity. So I applied for the position. I got a phone interview, which was really exciting, and it went pretty well. That Friday afternoon, they asked me to come in to shadow the clinic that I'd be working out of. The next Friday, I went in from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and I was able to shadow the clinic. A really great experience. The doctor was super kind, so were the nurses and the nurse manager. Super willing to learn. The doctor was pulling up his like laptop and giving me like little lectures on wound care already, and it was just a positive, learning, friendly environment. So that afternoon, he offered to do a final panel interview with her and her team. Tuesday, September 10th. And that was my last week of babysitting for the family. So I went in Tuesday afternoon, I put on my pantsuit, brought my portfolio, practiced questions and looking at their YouTube videos, because they have a few YouTube videos of their facility and what they do. I looked up like their Glassdoor profile, their Indeed profile, and just trying to get as much information as I could from them. And I went in pretty confident because I had already gone through the phone interview, I shadowed the clinic, it all seemed to be like working really well. And I went in for the interview, and it was the best interview ever. I have chief nursing officer and 2 other staff members. Light, friendly conversation, but we were still getting the main points across. They were still asking me the same questions. Tell me about yourself. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Why do you want to work here? What did you like about the clinic? Like, why do you think you would be a good fit for the clinic? Any questions you have for us? And the question that I asked here, and like at another interview, I asked, what are things that other people have done in my position to help them be successful in this role? And both places that I asked that question at really liked the question, and I got some giggles and both times did they comment, that's a really good question, or I had not heard that question before. So I would suggest putting that one in your back pocket because it was a hit and they offered me the position. I was really excited because it was a clinic, but it was a clinic that did a specialty that I was really interested in, and it's a 7 a.m. to like 4 or 5 p.m. job during the week only. You never work weekends and you don't work holidays because it's a specialty. Accepted the offer and we went ahead and started doing the background check and the drug testing and all of that. That was a Tuesday interview. The Monday before my interview, so the day before, I had actually gotten an email from a community hospital by my house offering that they had seen my application, that I did apply for that job, and if I wanted to do a on-demand interview so that I could continue with the interview process. Questions are like written out for you, and then you record yourself. You can re-record as many times as you'd like. And then there was 4 questions that I had to record my answers for, and then I just submitted that whole thing. After looking at the salary and looking at the fact that this hospital was offering me to interview for a new graduate internship program, like a full program, I decided to go for it and to try. So I went ahead and did that Wednesday morning. I did my question. I submitted that interview Wednesday morning. And on Monday, September 16th, got an email extending an offer for an in-person interview with a final panel of 2 to 3 nurse managers, and that they were hiring for this new graduate program. It's a 2-year contract, and they were hiring for either the med-surg floor, oncology, telemetry, cardiac, step-down, or float pool med-surg telemetry. September 21st, and my interview was at 9:20 in the morning. And I went in. The interview itself was not as friendly or lighthearted as the clinic interview. It was a little more cold, much more serious. They asked me the exact same questions, and it lasted like 10 minutes. They weren't really looking at me. I just brought my resumes. The lady said 2 or 3. And there was 4 people on my interview. So that goes to show, definitely be prepared and bring extras at your interview. I had printed out exactly 4. Thank goodness I had one for everybody. I just didn't have one for myself. I usually like to have an extra one for myself, just to have an extra, and also so that I could reference back at it. And like, you're nervous at the time that you're getting interviewed. You don't always like remember exactly what you've done. So I had 4. I didn't have anything to reference back on, but it was fine. And they were mainly like looking down at the resume, writing profusely. Like they were just like scribbling everything I was saying, which was good because I understand they were interviewing like literally the entire day. It was like one came out, one came in. They were just interviewing back to back to back. So it makes sense that they were trying to write down all the notes and all the like things so that they could remember exactly who they're interviewing. Like, yes, this person has this resume, but what did she say in the interview that like made her stand out, or why is she like a good candidate, he or she? Yeah, it was like 10 minutes. They asked me those questions. They asked me, what units would you like to work in? And I said med-surg, telemetry, or cardiac units, because to me, I feel I really want to get that general medicine knowledge base down. On Friday, I got the offer letter from the outpatient clinic, and I was like, damn, like I still haven't heard back from, or I was the day before my interview, so I was like, oh, like I can't turn this in yet because I want to get through this community hospital interview and see how this goes. So this week I did what any sane person did. I went to New Orleans for the week, and I just spent a few days there, Monday through Thursday. Thursday, I'm coming home. This was yesterday. I had a layover in Texas. I get off my plane from Texas. I go to the bathroom, and I get a phone call. It was the lead recruiter. I answered. She couldn't hear me. There was no good reception in the bathroom, so like I tried to pee as fast as I could. Like I rushed out, washed my hands, and I called the nurse, like the lead recruiter, back. She didn't answer. I was leaving a voicemail, and then she called me back. So she calls me and tells me that they would like to offer me the position in the new graduate program. They have saved me a spot, and that I'd be working under their float pool med-surg telemetry float pool. It's 5 weeks of like training. It's 8 to 5 Monday through Friday training, and that's like a certain base pay, and then after that I start getting paid by the actual hospital, and I would do 3 12-hour shifts a week with a nurse preceptor for I think it's like 2 or 3 months. Yeah, I wasn't positive what a float pool nurse is, so then I asked her, okay, is the float pool position still full-time? She said yes, it is. The way it works is that you are mainly hired on In the med surge, that's where you'll be trained mainly. And then once we kind of finish your training there, you'll cross train in telemetry. And then as we need you, people calling off, being short staffed in certain units, people go on maternity leave, that's when we'll pull you into those units, either med surge or telemetry, but those are the units you'd be like working and bouncing off of. I've been looking online. Yeah, it sounds a little scary because you don't have like that home base to really like hone down your skills at, but I feel like med surg and telemetry are similar enough to where it won't be super hard to transition from one and the other. I really don't know. Stay tuned for that journey. Yeah, she offered me that position and I got really excited. She sent me the official offer letter later that afternoon as I was like taking off in my flight back to the LA area. If I wanted to accept the offer, to email her back saying I accept the offer. So this means that I'd have to maybe work some nights, maybe some holidays, maybe some weekends. This means I'll be in a more stressful, high-stressed environment. This means I can't have that perfect Monday through Friday normal type job. This means I'd have to say no to the super awesome people over at the clinic. And I was super nervous, but again, I don't know. So, yesterday, I was asking everybody I know for their opinion because I really had no clue. I was looking up on allnurses.com forums. I asked my classmates who I graduated with. I asked friends. I was talking to my mom about it, my siblings, everybody. My pros and cons list. There's like no real cons on either place. It was just different pros. And one of the things that was like, was 2-year contract. Like, damn, like 2-year contract is a long time. After careful consideration, and I slept like a baby still because I was freaking tired from my trip, but after thinking about it and looking up forums, people were answering forums, I was looking on the Facebook group, I was looking at allnurses.com, I was talking to people. The general consensus was that the hospital would be better for me long term. It's a greater opportunity. It's harder to get an inpatient after. Not impossible, just a little more difficult. And if this is a position that's already being offered to me, why not take it now? The pay is better. If I go through the 2 years of doing med surg and telemetry and get that background experience, once I finish that, it'll also be around the time that I'll be finishing up my bachelor's. So once that's all fine and done, I'm gonna have a great resume and I can decide on which unit I would like to further pursue my career in, whether I'd stay on med surg, whether I want to go into labor and delivery, emergency room, step down. These are all units that I'm really interested in. I just don't know which one is good for me yet. So I'm taking this as a sign, like, take it. It's a great opportunity. Yes, it's 2 years. Yes, I may have to sacrifice doing night shift because I am a morning person, but nothing's easy, right? And my body will adjust. Maybe I can start bringing in matcha and like make myself green tea to stay up because I don't really like coffee. Very excited with how things are turning out. I will update on how things go with this internship program. I am set to start October 21st. It's like orientation day and that's when we start our training. So super duper excited. I'm very nervous. I hope it works out. I don't know. It's just a lot of big changes happening very soon. So we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck.